Hi friends, it's Mari from Mari Her Eye Archives. And today we're going to talk about something that I'm super excited to talk about, and it's more of my, I guess, reflections or habits that I've learned in the past year and what I'm taking over to 2026. Now, the weather is getting really, really cold. We are into fall, almost winter, I feel like, and I am just taking nature's cue and my body's cue because I have just been wanting to just lounge and really, really slow down. And it always gets me in this reflective state of mind. This is actually the first time that I can actually say for myself that I can kind of reflect on a journey as far as where I am at in my journaling process. Because if you're new to my channel, I've mentioned before that journaling for me has been something that has been on and off, and I could never get it to stick. And so I made a conscience I made an effort um, in late 2024 to really kind of focus on the habit of journaling because it's something I do really enjoy. And so I told myself at the end of 2024 that I was going to try to figure it out. And um, and so here we are today, almost a full year, um, because like I said, it happened towards the end of it was like the last week of October, which we are in right now, which is fitting. So technically, I am within the year, so I can kind of reflect. And I just wanted to kind of, I guess, share my journey, some of the habits that I was able to do to help me on this journey, and to talk about like what's going into 2026 and how that will look like for me as I continue with this journey of writing and expressing myself and my creativity, and using journaling as a way of just kind of to reflect and to document my life. And yeah, so I have a list here so I don't forget. I miss the points because sometimes when I talk about things that I'm really, really like into, I tend to forget like the main points and I just end up rambling like I am doing right now. So, you know what? Let's get into this video, and yeah, let's talk about it. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to show you is obviously I guess the journey that started it, that started in 2024 and where I'm at now. And so I began my journaling journey way back in 2017. And I actually didn't start with the Hobonichi weeks. I actually learned about Hobonichi back in 2018. I actually started my journey in a traveler's notebook. And I still love the traveler's notebook. I do enjoy using the traveler's notebook for certain things. But as far as journaling went, it was not, I guess I wasn't in a place for it to stick. And then when I found about Hobonichi Weeks, I felt like it was a little bit more structure for me. Because the one thing that I know now compared to before is I had to begin this habit of journaling, and I was so distracted with all the things that come in the stationery world that I don't think I gave it a fair shot when it came to journaling. It was quite overwhelming, which I will talk about that too in this video and how I kind of overcame it. But it was a pure distraction to where I wasn't able to focus on the journaling aspect that I so deeply needed. And so when I learned about the Hobonichi weeks, it gave me a little bit more structure because of, well, I didn't know it back then. I do now. because like I said, I was jumping everywhere with different notebooks. But all in all, the Hobonichi Weeks gave me the structure that I needed to make this a journaling habit for myself. And so I feel like even though in 2026 I won't be using a Hobonichi Weeks because of the goals that I have for myself, I am still using a Hobonichi. It's the A6 Techo, which is still a little bit more structured, but not as structured as the Hobonichi Weeks, just because those have daily pages and this has like, you know, blank pages, weekly pages, and then the monthly pages and so forth. But Hobonichi Weeks really gave me the structure. And it wasn't until the end of 2024 when I was able to learn how to utilize that structure for myself when it comes to making that habit in journaling. And it kind of just clicked for me. I don't know what clicked for me. I mean, it's been a long process, and I feel like I was, I guess, in a better mental state as far as allowing journaling to be a way for me to express my thoughts and creativity. It was it has been a very rough, I guess, last decade. I've gone through so many things, so many emotional things, so many mental things that I still am going through and just sorting through all that stuff. And last year has really helped me kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say it's a distraction, but help me reflect on some of these thoughts and emotions and just experiences that I'm going through. So the Hobonichi Weeks has been one of those um, planners, notebooks that help me start this journaling journey. And so it was in a way where I was able to combine like my love of stationery and journaling together that wasn't so overwhelming, and it got me to start using my stationery properly. And I'll explain more of that as we get further into the video. But first, I do want to show you what 2024 looked like for me and how it's going presently. Okay, so in 2024, okay, I have this marked, but I'm not sure if I actually went through. So in 2024, there was a lot of experimentation, like all the other years, and just, I guess, trying to find inspiration from other Hobonichi Weeks users and seeing what worked for them and seeing how maybe that could work for me. And in my case, there was, I think what really kicked it off was I saw a video from Lined Musings where and I'll actually link her channel below. Um, she did something, and I'm pretty sure she probably got the inspiration from somebody else. But Line Musings was like the um, first YouTuber that I saw that was doing this, and it really got like my gears turning because basically in the back of her. So what I learned, or what inspired me, was how she used the back pages of the Hobonichi Weeks, and it kind of made me look at this notebook a little bit differently, to where it was being used as something that I can use as a journal when I need it. Like, say for example, I'm not a huge writer, although I'm working towards trying to write a little bit more. But there are times when I do want to journal, and back in the day, or still now, I still don't like to journal daily. I like to document my day, which I feel like it's totally different than journaling, because with documenting, I'm just doing little snippets of what I did exactly that day, but I'm not really going into full detail. But there are times where there is a day where I'm like, I kind of want to talk about it a little bit more. And so I use the blank pages for that. And so that kind of alleviated I guess, the pressure or the stress of journaling every single day, because in my journey, I felt like if I wasn't journaling every day, I am not going to be successful. I mean, that was my mindset. And I don't know if some of this was, it could be your mindset as well, especially someone who has been wanting to make this journaling habit stick. It was quite intimidating to see a lot of YouTubers and Instagrammers, like see them actually complete a whole book and write things, do things every single day. And I'm like, man. And so if I don't do that, I feel like, you know what, it's not going to stick. It's not even worth it. Am I even a journaler? Do I even like journaling? So it made me question a lot. And so when I saw, you know, the way she did it, I was like, it kind of gave me permission to be like, you know what? Yeah, journaling to me doesn't have to look like something I have to do daily. It, you know, and I found a way to do something daily in my notebooks that was more sustainable for me, that resonated more for, you know, with my personality and my life and what I enjoy doing, because I don't want this to be a source of stress for myself. And so that was kind of like the first like light bulb moment for me. And then from there, it just went like, I wouldn't say it went smooth sailing, but it did make me think of journaling and documenting in a whole different light. And so with that said, it allowed me to kind of structure the Hobonichi weeks to fit my needs, not what I was seeing with everybody else and what they were doing with their stuff. Because I think sometimes when we come into the journaling world, yes, we are inspired by other journalers. And so we kind of not overcompensate, but just like we are like, oh, that is exactly how I want to do it. But then in real life, it doesn't fit your life, right? If it's their life, but it doesn't fit your life. And so that can be a huge rabbit hole that you go into and you can start spiraling, which I did. And so when you don't have like a focus or like an understanding of what you want in journaling, you can really spiral really quick. And then you start to focus on other things like the stationery. And I guess just to kind of fill the void, at least in my experience, it's just something that I'm able to control better is the things that I purchase versus like, you know, trying to figure out this process of journaling and how it can help me and what I can come out of the journaling process. So yeah, it can really get out of hand. So but anyway, so yeah, this has given me a lot more structure to start that journaling habit. And then I do want to show you how it started, like with my weekly pages, and I still do my weekly pages like this. And so here is some pages that I did, some of the first pages that I did, and I think this is what really like made me see like, oh my gosh, I love this. I love doing this. I love how it's turned out. I love the things that I'm putting on the page. You know, if I wanted to come back and look through the pages, it will bring a smile to my face. And that's something that I wanted for myself. Now, that's not always what something somebody else wants. You know, sometimes they like to just journal and then just forget about it and probably toss it out. You know, it is a personal preference and a personal journey. So in my case, I just loved seeing how I was able to interpret my day through this way. And then not only that, it has been I have been able to utilize my stationery in a way that I didn't before. I mean, I would say I did use stickers and stuff like that, but not in this way. And what I mean in this way is basically I used stickers that represented what I was doing that day. Before I would just stick pretty stickers on the page and then write. But it never really coincided with what I was doing. And for example, when I say like, oh, I had sushi this day and I found a sticker that represented like sushi. So it just kind of made sense for me. And once I started doing that, then I was able to utilize my stickers. And I'm a lover of stickers. So this allowed me to do that. And so this was the beginning of my journey. I was so proud of myself because I went through like 1 week of doing it, and then it came into the next week. And then it just continued until even now I'm still doing it. And it's something like I look forward to at the end of the day. Before when it came to journaling, it was more like, I get to it when it happens. But now that this has been a habit, it's like something that I can't not do. at the end of the day, now it's not always perfect, but there are some days where like I do miss a day, but I do make sure in the morning I back journal. But this is the most I've done, and it's almost to the point where, because it is a habit, something that I've been able to structure it to where I enjoy it and I look forward to it, that now it becomes a part of me, and it's something that I just look forward to doing. And I am just so proud of myself that for a whole year I've been able to upkeep it. And so if you've seen my videos, you've probably seen this Hobonichi weeks. But this is what I mean when it came to structure. It allowed me to kind of organize the things that I want to document and write about in a way where it was organized, and it was less, I guess, thinking for me, and it was just more like, okay, this is where I'm going to put it. And then at the end of the month, I have a collection of the dinners that we ate. So in this case, the monthly always looked different for me, but I've decided that this was going to be a place where I was going to log all our dinners that we've ate. And I am so proud of myself that I've upkept it. And now I'm able to look back and see that we did eat dinners, because we do this every single day, right? This is something that it's automatic. And so a lot of these are forgotten. And so when I think back on the little mundane things, we don't keep track of it. And so it gets lost. We don't even think back. Like sometimes I'm like, did we even eat dinner? And we did. And this right here shows me that we did eat dinner. It's a place for me to capture those moments and those dinners. And so, and of course, data. Who doesn't like data? But I'm just so happy that I'm able to do that. And so in my weekly, as you can see, I've really upkept all my journaling, and it has allowed me to put a visual on my everyday, something that I've never been able to do. And so this has been such an eye opener when it comes to this process, that has allowed me to put thoughts and activities onto paper, and then also allow me to get creative and use my stationery. And I think for me, when it comes to journaling, it's something that what I want from it is something that allows me to, I guess, process my emotions and my feelings. And in this case, this is how I did it. Some people use words. I like to use stickers, and that's okay. It's such a personal journey, right? And so, yeah, I am quite truly, truly happy that I was able to do this. Now, see, there was actually a month or so, and I've actually recorded this. There's a video on this where we were so busy with our landscaping project this past spring, summer, that I went a whole month of not journaling or documenting. And there were only key elements that I do remember when I was back journaling. And that just kind of proved my point, is that amongst the everyday, the things that we do, we forget. And the only things that we remember are the ones that are like highlighted. And to me, I feel like the everyday is as much important as the big things. And I've mentioned that a lot of times in a lot of my videos. And so, as you can see, I would have beat myself up for it, but you know what? Sometimes that's the reality. And I just kind of did the best that I could with what memory I had at the time. And it's okay. And I think that's another thing that I've learned as part of my process, is to just kind of go with the flow and don't beat yourself up if it doesn't come out the way you want to and it's not perfect. Like, we don't want to strive for perfection. I feel like our notebooks and our planners and journals should be as messy as we are in reality, in real life, because we are messy. We don't have it all together. Well, at least in my part, we don't have it all together. And so I feel like, our journals will reflect that. But yeah. So I am just like truly, truly grateful for this journey that I've been gone through and what it has transpired. And so going into 2026, I am really, really excited. I feel like last year and this year I was like I'm a freshman, and like now I'm a sophomore, and I kind of understand where what I'm expecting and what I want from this journaling experience, and I'm a little bit more confident moving forward to express and to try out more things, and I'm a little bit less, I mean, I'm not as fearful. I don't want to say fearful is the right word, but I'm not constraining myself or restraining, if that's, yeah, restraining myself to it's okay, because I feel like at first there was like rules that I've set upon myself, right? And so, yeah. So I am super excited for 2026, and as you can see, I've journaled a few times throughout the months, and I'm super excited to maybe be doing a little bit more journaling more than I did this year, and who knows, that's probably how it will be. So okay, so let's get into the habits and some reflections that I feel like can maybe help somebody, or just kind of, if you guys are interested in learning what I've learned. I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to show you a little tiny haul that I've had for 2026. My first habit that I'm going to go in from 2025 that I'm going to bring into 2026 is the way I purchase and use my stationery. Now, this is super important to me because I do love stationery, and I do love stickers. I do love markers. I do love washi tape. I love everything above the notebooks, everything. Now, I had mentioned earlier before is that in the beginning, it was very, very, very stressful because, like I said, I got super, super distracted with the stationary side of it. And don't get me wrong, right? You know, for me, I understand there are businesses that want to sell to you. I understand that side of it. Businesses, they pop up, stationery shops, they pop up and their main goal is to make money, obviously, but they also, want to bring you stationery, fresh new stationery. And that side can get really, really dangerous, especially for someone who loves stationery. And it's a very, very slippery slope. But I choose to look at it in a positive light or I choose to look at it in the way that I can control it for myself, because those stores, those items, all these things, these stationary things will always be there, right? No matter what, there is the dark side of it, the upside of it, the downside of it, the upside downside of it. Like, there's so many angles to it. But for me, I chose to look at it in a positive light because that's the only thing that I can control. And truth be told, stationery I love since I was younger. Whether it was drilled in me from all the commercials that I've seen, from you know whatever hypnotic thing that they did, it's there, right? And so while don't want to like deprive myself from this, because it truly does bring me joy, and I do understand the other side of it, but like I said, I choose to focus on the positive and what I can control, and that's how I consume these items and how I prepare myself to purchase these items. Now, back in the day, like I said, it got really overwhelming because I would just buy, 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 buy. And, when something new came out, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to try it. And it got to the point where now I have this whole collection that I'm looking around myself of just stuff. Some of them I've never used. And those are, I wouldn't say, those are the beautiful scars of my stationery journey. And while, I could sit back and say, like, should have done this, I should have done that, it's there already. So all I can do is kind of learn from it and just kind of devise a plan for myself when it comes to stationery. Now, when I say that, now I'm a little bit more intentional and a little bit more prepared when it comes to stationery purchasing. Now, I know YOLO, you buy the things you want to buy with your own money. I'm not telling you not to buy anything, but I just want to show or tell you how what I did to help me curb that impulsiveness that I did have in the stationery world, and how I guess it helped me kind of slow down enough to where I could utilize what I already had, but at the same time be able to purchase new things. Because let's be honest, all I love the designers of these stickers. And so there's not a way where I'm not going to purchase them. I'm not going to deprive myself from it because I just am a lover of art, of design, of creativity. And so that's something that is important. So, especially in this journaling journey. And so I've learned to be able to control what I can control, and that's me slowing down for me. And the things that I put, I guess, for myself, as far as I had to put kind of, I want to say like a limitation, but a boundary, just so I can slow down when it comes to the purchase of my stationery. Now, when I say that, so I usually try to just have like one big bulk stationery buy once a year, and I try to coincide with that with Hobonichi season. Now, if you're not familiar, Hobonichi is a company out in Japan, and usually around the September timeframe is when they announce their new designs for 2026. And I picked this date because usually that's the time. I don't want to say I used to have FOMO, yes, but now I'm okay. I have what is called JOMO, which is the joy of missing out. And I'm a little bit more intentional, and I try not to let the hype kind of sway me. I just kind of want to sit back and be like, okay, hold on, because it can get really slippery. And I guess that's part of my journey too, of being able to constrain myself when it comes to these purchases. So that is a rule that I did set for myself, was to try to only purchase once a year. And so I did that for 2024. I bought things for 2025. And so in the most part, 2025, the items that I've been using were the items that I purchased in 2024. Perfect. And now it wasn't like super perfect, but it's definitely a lot better than years prior. Now, I did decide for my birthday, instead of, because usually I'm like a bag lover and usually I purchase bags, but for this year, I was okay with not purchasing a bag. I actually wanted to purchase new stationery for myself. So for 2025, I did get one special day where I did buy me birthday gifts, and it was stationery. And I think that in itself for me is to be able to make those decisions and not feel guilty. And so that's what I mean about like having some kind of boundary, or um, I guess rules. I don't want to say rules, but just some kind of, parameter of, when it comes to the purchase of stationery. And you know what your limit is and what your budget is, and there's a lot of psychology that comes in it within that. And so that's a lot of work that I had to do for myself. So I'm not saying it's, black and white, but again, putting parameters is a great start. And so for this year, I did purchase, for 2026. I am proud to say that I utilized I want to say like 89% of my stationery, all my stickers has been used. I've been using all my markers. I haven't purchased any new markers. But I do know I did buy, that was part of my 2026 stationery purchase was I bought new pens. Now, um, I am a lover of pens, like especially like gel pens, and I'm going to show you the pen haul that I did get. Uh, I do love fountain pens, but it's still a little too fussy for me. I think that's something that I'm still in the process of utilizing. I'm not rushing myself, but I love what I love. And for me, it's pens. It's just the convenience of switching to different colors whenever I feel like it, as far as like when I'm writing, it just really helps that. And I prefer that. And so I want to say I bought like 15 new pens. I added a few more colors in my little lineup. So this is, I think, the only kind of like writing tool that I purchased for 2026. And I just kind of got it divided in my little tiny pen totes because I do have obviously all the colors. And so it just made it a lot more organized. And I absolutely love this setup for me, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But I did buy more pens. Now, last year I did buy a few notebooks, and that's one thing that I'm working as well for myself, is to try to limit my purchase of notebooks. Now, I did mention that in 2026 I will be using an A6 Techo from Hobonichi. Now, this actually came into my life unplanned because I actually wanted a cover, and because now they have to sell the covers with the planners, I had kind of no choice unless I just didn't want to work with the cover. But the way things worked out, the cover wasn't, I didn't love it, so I ended up selling it. But I kept the Techo, and I guess things happen for a reason, and I'm excited to be using this for 2026 because I feel like I'll have a little bit more creativity when it comes to how I'm journaling. So I'm looking forward to that. And so for 2026, now I want to say it was perfect that I didn't buy a new notebook, but compared to last year, I only bought one new notebook. Last year, I bought like 3 different notebooks and then like 10 different notebooks from Archer and Olive, which was a new brand that I learned about last year. And I went crazy on it, which I ended up reselling all of it but 1 or 2 notebooks. So I'm in a lot better place now because I only bought one, only because this notebook is something that I've been wanting to try since like 2 years ago. And I don't have anywhere here where I can just go in and look at it and try it. And so this year I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and purchase it and see if it's something that I want to do. And in my mind, I was like, you know what? This would be so great. Like my whole thought process when it always comes to something that I'm purchasing new, I'm like, this, I could use this for this. Now, when I got it in, it is a beautiful, beautiful notebook. And what I'm talking about is this. It is the 2026 R Studio journal. And let me kind of move this out of the way because it wants to focus on it. I absolutely love this journal. And at first I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to use this for it. But I flipped through it and I was like, ooh, I love this journal. But then it got me thinking, like, will I really use it throughout the year? And will this be a waste? And I've thought about it because I've had this for about 2 weeks now, or a week and a half. And as beautiful as it is, I don't think I'm going to use it. And that's okay because I feel like I can sell it. I mean, maybe one of you guys might want this, but as beautiful as it is, I think I'm just going to sell it because I don't think I will use it. I love the idea of it, but I don't know. I'm still pondering about it. I guess I have a couple months to really think it through. And I think the reason why, like I said, I'm being a little bit more intentional about the notebooks that come into my life. And I think part of the reason why I did purchase this was because it was just curiosity. I just wanted to see how it looked, how it felt, how the paper felt. you know, the different artwork, because our studio is one of my favorite designers that I love. Now I know it's a collective, but they're one of my favorite designers that I love buying washi tape and stickers from. And so I think it was just based out of curiosity, like all my other notebooks. And so I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this in 2025, or will it be sitting there untouched? And it's such a beautiful journal for it not to be used, you know. So that's still something that I'm working through. But so yeah, and that's one thing I am working through as far as, you know, learning myself and trying to not purchase things that I know I'm not going to use. But if I do end up buying something, I do know that, okay, you know, I can always sell it. And I think before, that option has always been there to sell it. I think the difference is from before and now, I didn't sell it back then. I just kept it versus selling it. Now I'm in that mindset that I can just sell it, which I did. Like with the Hobonichi cover that didn't work out, I just sold it and I was okay with it. So I was able to kind of stop that hoarding tendency. Okay, and I did buy the 2026 Travelers Company. I mean, nothing too crazy. I mean, I always buy the diaries each year because I do love the stickers. I ended up getting two. I don't know what happened. I must have had one in my cart and then added another one. And I did get the folders and then also the ooh, I don't know what happened to the other. Oh, here it is. Uh, the pencil boards, and then the 2026 monthly for my personal calendar for 2026. So nothing really crazy to show here. You guys probably seen this a million times. And I did get the free um, leather tag, which I'm so happy that I did. Some people got two, and I was like, wait, how did you get two? But I'm grateful for the one I did get, because I know some people didn't even get any at all. Now I placed my order literally when the clock turned noon. I already had my everything set up. I just ended up adding everything and then just checking out, and I had Apple Pay, so it was super easy. And that's probably why I ended up with two, because I was rushing. So that is one haul that I got for 2026. Another haul I got from 2026 as far as purchases is this Ransom Note sticker book. I got this because I loved all the letters and I want to use it for my junk journaling. So I thought this was really cute. I got this off of Amazon and it was not as, it was, let's see, it says $20 here. I don't think I paid that much. It was on Amazon. I want to say it was like 12 bucks maybe. I don't know. So that was one purchase. I did purchase a few stickers. Again, our studio. Again, I just love. This is our studio, right? Yep. So I got these, and there's actually a few. I actually used one, but I'm trying to save it for 2026. But I might just use it now. I mean, I don't want to save things. So, but I am trying to use up what my older ones, just so I can get it out of my sticker books. So beautiful stickers. I'm excited to start using it. And then I did get various washi tape and sticker sheets, a lot of sticker sheets. Um, I've already started putting it in my sticker book. So to spare you guys, here's another sticker book that I got. So I like to shop from, so there are a few places I like. Nico Neko Zakaya. The Pinky Elephant is one. Paper Plant Co. My Documented Life is another place that I like to buy. I like to support the smaller businesses. And then I did buy another sticker book because I'm running out, not running out of space, but I tend to use a lot more like people stickers and food stickers. And so yeah, so here are some of the stickers that I got. I've already started organizing some of it in here. I have a lot more, but it's in my sticker book. But I guess I can show you I mean, you guys probably wouldn't notice the different stickers in here. Like here are some stickers. These were called, I guess, Tiny Friends, I think, from, I think it's Mindwave. I use a lot of these tiny people, so I restocked. Luckily, they had a lot different ones. So this was from last year, and this is for this year. The ones that I just recently purchased. And as you can see, when I first started this was 2 pages filled of this, but now it's only half a page. So I have been using a lot of my stickers and a lot of my washi. So I'm excited that that is the case. And then here are the new washi that I got. Let's see. I guess starting from here, these are the new washi that I got. Now, if you're new to my channel, I do like to archive all my washi tapes and washi PET tapes, just because when I run out, I do want to have at least a collection of what I did have. So these are new washi tapes that I did get from La Dolce Vita. La Dolce, yeah. Some more La Dolce Vita. I do like their style. I did get these because I love, oh, another new stationery shop that I learned about is called Kubo and Lucy Stationery. They are also a small business owned by one person, and I was excited to find them, and so I placed an order from them. That's where I actually got my Our Studio journal. Some Pion, and then also some Mr. Eggplants. I love his, it's so bright and fun. This was called Fruit Labels. I absolutely love all the different types, so I definitely had to get it. And then this one's called Mixtape. I am a lover of music, so I had to get this one. I'm excited to use that in my journaling. And then also Kita tapes. It's been a while since I purchased Kita tapes, but I used to have a lot, and I actually sold my whole collection and only kept a few. And these are the ones that I've kept because I love the design of the book. And some of these are actually empty. It's all gone. And so I want to repurpose it for something else. But these are the two that I bought, and I absolutely love the colors of it. It's so beautiful. And so this is going to take me forever to use, but I think the last time I bought Kita tape was, oh my God, years. So, and then these are the new stamps that I also got because we do a lot of grocery shopping. So I thought this was perfect because sometimes I use up all my grocery shopping stickers, like girls that are grocery shopping. And so I thought to myself, I should probably get some stamps so I can use it in when I don't have stickers to represent it. And I think I showed that last time. So yeah, not very many new stamps, but enough. Three new stamps that I added to my collection. So, okay. And I think that is it as far as, like, you know, my little tiny stationery haul. And then also I wanted to mention, like I had shown you my pens, is what I've learned with my stationery to be able to use it was to have proper storage for it. Now, I don't mean like go out and buy all these storage things for it. I mean, you can if you want to, but I mean, you can literally use boxes, tops of boxes, and containers that you can thrift, or, you know, you can make your own container like this one right here. I made this out of scrap leather, and it just kind of holds my stamps. But just having a system for your stationery so it's easier accessible and you can see what you have, which is the reason why I love using my sticker release books. It's right there on my desk. I have a little container and it just sits like that. And so when I need to use my stickers, it's right there. It's so easy. So yeah, I think having a way to properly store the things that you use, and I'll show you, like, So, I have like containers that have like my most used stationery, and I have all the pens. I have all the pens and all the markers that I need right here. And so, again, having a proper um, system to store your stuff, like purchases are unnecessary, just create a plan, or create some parameters for yourself to help you in that process. One thing that I do want to talk about too is just when you want to start your daily habit of journaling, I feel like the most thing that has really helped me is finding structure as far as trying to make a habit for yourself. And that has helped me as far as creating this habit. It will help you feel not so overwhelmed with the whole process, which in my case it was in the beginning. So, when it comes to habit forming, and if it's something that you want to do, I feel like this has helped me reduce any stress, and it has given me a little bit more freedom to kind of focus on what I really wanted to make a habit. And I feel like for 2026, I don't need that much structure anymore. And so allowing me to kind of express myself in other ways, in different layouts, I'm giving myself permission to do that, right? Because I feel like the Hobonichi week gave me that structure to start that habit. In 2026, it's like, okay, I have that habit down of daily journaling. Now I can kind of give myself like freedom to like, try different more layouts and just kind of, just let it be more organic and let myself be able to express myself in different ways, and one page could look totally different than the next page. And for me, that I think is what I am looking forward to doing, because right now the pages that they're kind of looking like the same, right? Minus like the stickers obviously, but the layout has been the same week by week. And that was for me on purpose, because like I said, I was creating that habit. But now for 2026, I don't need that structure anymore. And I will have this whole page right here to allow me to just use a different layout. And if a layout, depending on how I feel that day. And so I'm looking forward to that freedom. One thing too that I've also learned, that I want to reflect on, is that it's okay to make mistakes. Don't stress about it. It's not a perfect thing. Like, um, I think it got caught up for me is when I think about the little things, and I think it's because I was comparing myself to other people. Like, oh man, they're journaling daily, and I didn't, so I'm just gonna stop. And it does sometimes happen that way, but I think what I've learned is that you just kind of have to go with the flow. If some days you don't feel like journaling, and if you don't feel like back journaling those days, that is okay. That is fine. You just do what you feel you want to do. And that is one thing that I've learned. Also, the other thing that I've learned is to embrace the changes. Uh, I know sometimes like we are so fixated, at least for me, to have like that perfect look. Not even like perfect look, but for me, when it comes to journaling, like obviously this is for me, right? This is for me and my eyes, and I just happen to share it with you guys on YouTube. Um, but I think, as it got later into the year and I was like already having the habit, it's okay for change. It shouldn't be stressful. Your journaling experience, shouldn't be stressed out. And I think that's one thing that I've learned throughout this whole process, is that change is okay. It happens, and you just kind of roll with the punches. So, yeah. And even when I say like changes, it can be in your journaling style. It can even be in the way you address your stationery. You know, with if you struggle with impulsiveness, just setting those parameters. I think that's the same thing for journaling as well. If you need to set some parameters for yourself, so you don't kind of spiral down, so you don't get stressed and it gets out of hand, sometimes that's a great way to kind of like slow it down and be like, okay, hold on. Let's stop and see, why am I stressing out? The next thing I feel that has been a very important role in my journaling journey is being able to create a space for myself when it comes to journaling, and to surround myself with things that are, it doesn't have to be things, it could be, whatever, but something that motivates you and inspires you and then just makes you feel calm. um, and it doesn't have to be like a big space. Like, fortunately, I am lucky uh, in this new house that I do have a whole room to myself where I can display all of my stationery and, you know have things organized. But the space I had before was just a little 18-inch desk and some organizational boxes that I had on the desk to be able to access the stationery that I use on a daily basis. And sometimes it looked like just a little tote, like this right here. And I still use this tote. This was mostly what I used to house the things that I used for journaling. And so I think it's very important to create a space for yourself, even if it's just a little corner or a small desk, or, a tote of some kind where you need to journal, like on a dining table, but creating a space where you have the things that you use on a daily basis, or so you can easily grab the things that you need for your stationery. I think that's really, um, it'll be very helpful. At least for me, it has helped me kind of concentrate on doing this, because everything else was kind of in their proper place and I knew where to get that. So I really, really feel that it is also important to have that space, and also to be surrounded by something that is inspiring to you or motivating you, or a place that keeps you calm, whether it's the corner of your living room, or the a space in your closet, whatever that might look for you. And I think lastly, I do want to mention is to just have fun. Enjoy the process, take everything that you are doing and just learn from it. Learn what works for you, what doesn't work for you, things that you want to incorporate. And most importantly, you want to kind of look at it as, like, what do you want from this habit to form? And so for me, because I've already reached a level of this habit that I am satisfied with, now in 2026, I feel like I can add a new habit, and I'm excited to do that. And for me that looks more like being a little bit more creative and expressive in what I lay down and what I do, as far as my journals. I do want to draw a little bit more like I used to. I do want to incorporate drawings, but I do want to start that habit of drawing. And so, again, I'm approaching it the same way I approach this habit of journaling. I'm going to start super simple and very slow and intentional, and just enjoy the process. I know sometimes, like for me, I like to just get A to Z, like really, really fast, and you just kind of skip the middle part. But I feel like the middle part is where you grow the most, is where you learn more, you reflect more. And so that's something that I want to continue enjoying, and what I'm going to take from what I learned here into this new habit that I'm going to try to form in 2026. Always keep learning. I mean, I am a person who loves to learn new things. Um, Now, I'm also a person who likes to learn multiple things, and usually I start something, stop, start, stop, start, stop. And then I just have a whole bunch of supplies for different kinds of things. And I do have that to prove, all the stuff to prove. But I think for 2026, because of what I've learned in my journaling experience, I'm going to be a little bit more intentional and kind of slow down. And so, kind of set goals for myself, even if it's just for, whatever increment you want to do. For me, I'm going to use 2026 as just that 1 year to learn about one new thing and to incorporate that in my life somehow, or in my creativity process, or whatever the case may be. But always keep learning. I feel like that is something that um, is what the soul needs. Sometimes you don't think that's something that you want, but I think as we get older, when things start slowing down, I feel like our hobbies and these things that we're learning, just being able to learn something new, is something that will keep our soul fed, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much, the things that I wanted to kind of reflect on uh, from what I've learned in 2025 and what I'm going to roll into 2026. It's pretty much the same process, but I feel like for 2026, I'm going to be adding something new, but incorporating the things I've learned in 2025. And I'm so excited to be in this headspace and to be able to tackle a new habit, a new year in a different light than I did prior to 2025. And I mean, I can't complain. I am super grateful for the things that I've learned throughout the year. Um, and I don't know, maybe someone watching this and they'll think like, really, you're getting all of this from notebooks and stickers and markers. But if you know, you know, if you are a journaler, a writer, a creative person, or someone who wants to do something like this, it really is. It's just like someone who's into music, which I am also into music and art and all that stuff. It's what feeds our soul. And so I am so excited for my journey and, what it's going to look like for 2026. And I do hope that, if you are in your journey, if you're at, wherever you are in your journey, that, you are constantly inspired, constantly motivated, and that you're surrounded by things that allow you, or people that allow you to express yourself in ways that you've never been able to express. And in my case, these notebooks and these planners and these journals and these stickers. And I've just been enjoying the process. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And, if you made it to the end, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and just kind of, I guess, going down a little bit of memory lane and just kind of listening to me ramble about my journey and what I've learned and how I'm going to implement that in 2026. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see how that unfolds. I am ready to be in this notebook, but I got to kind of restrain myself because I want to continue to be present in what my current journals. I'm just really excited to be able to complete a book, and it's looking fabulous. And hopefully maybe this video might resonate with you, and you're probably going through the same thought process and journey that I'm going to, and maybe it'll help you inspire yourself to maybe start journaling, and maybe give you a better start than I did and not feel so overwhelmed, to kind of give you some tips on how to, you know, not be consumed over all the pretty things, and maybe set a plan or not a plan, parameters, so you don't go crazy and go down the slippery slope that we all know so well if you are in this journaling community. So, yeah, thank you all for hanging out with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's talk about it in the comments. Let me know, how you are doing in your journaling journey. Any tips or tricks that helped you get to where you're at. And yeah, let's talk about it. And I am taking nature's cue to slow down and embrace the changing of the colors right now, and I am loving it. I just honestly just want to just cuddle up, with the fireplace and just watch Netflix all day and watch shows and movies. And I think that's probably what I'm going to be doing for the last quarter of this year, and that is okay. So I hope you guys are doing well on your side of wherever that is, and I will see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.